Hey guys, and welcome to the quick tutorial on workflows in GoHighLevel. So basically, this is where most of the power comes from in HighLevel. There, you can do loads of stuff which can be triggered off certain events that happen in the funnel, forms, surveys, appointments, off your Facebook ads, all that kind of cool stuff. So we're going to get into it now. Obviously, back in the day, about 2 years ago, it used to be a lot more harder to set this all up. There was I think 3 separate areas where you had to put in your email kind of chain where like you'd send out an email each day. There'd be triggers in another part, um, and then like you'd have to link them all up. Whereas now these workflows are linear and very much like kind of decision trees rather than all over the place. So let me just take you through. So we've got one set up already, which is basically an unsubscribe click. So if they click a certain link in the email to unsubscribe, they basically get taken out of all your marketing. Just to quickly show you that, I've done a video on it. I'll pop it in the top left-hand corner so you can have a little look at that if you're interested. Which basically simple trigger and then take them out of the workflows and emails and SMSs. So you want to go and just create a template. Now, HighLevel has these things called recipes, which will basically be templates of automations that you can do for certain events. So, appointment confirmation. So you can just let's click on this one. So you click on it, press click new workflow, and it'll basically just get it all through here. So here's a trigger. So they've triggered it on appointment status, which is basically a confirmed appointment. You can change this just to be to customer booked appointment, and then you can do a filter, which is basically depending on which calendar they've booked through. You might have multiple ones. You may just have one. If you just have one, you don't need that. If you have multiple ones and you want to just do an automation for a certain type of calendar, say you're in 3 different niches, you may just want a appointment confirmation for each different niche. It's up to you. But if you've just got one, you can just do customer booked appointment. And just go down so that this is an email. So you've just got to pop in your from name and from email, and it just has a templated kind of email structure which you can go in and amend. This is a wait time, so this is actually a wait before the event. So basically 1 day before the event, it will send out this email. This is what that wait thing. It's making you stop before the event. If the event kind of like to say they book in and the event or the appointment is going to happen in about 30 minutes time, obviously they'll skip down to like say here where it would be 1 hour before the event. And just to show you again, simple SMS, email, just very simple templates. It just helps you get the structure ready. So then they have the 1 hour reminder, which is basically an hour before the event that they've booked into your calendar, which is pretty cool. So it's all automated. You just maybe want to go and personalize it a little bit. 1 hour after the event, so it'll be like an internal notification, which basically kind of basically sends an email to see how it went. And then obviously then there's even more automations if they showed and paid. This is an if else node, which I'm going to go through in a sec, where so basically you can set up trigger links and all sorts of cool stuff like that. And they bring it down. You can even send it into the Facebook conversion API. They have a little thing for that where you need this the conversion API details, so access token, pixel ID. That's a very simple way of sending it through. And even a review request. So you can send a review request to them, which basically asks them to review your company. And vice versa. You may not need that. So that's a very simple recipe that they've got. So I'm just going to save that and go back. But I normally like to do mine, just get that out there, from scratch. So you can do it from scratch. Up here is importer campaign. So if you had old campaigns that you built in the old HighLevel, this is where you could go and pick one of them, and that would turn it into a workflow for you. I don't have any of those, so I'm just going to go straight on just wanted to show you what else they have. So they have loads of recipes down there. Start from scratch. So let's go in there, and this is what it will look like. So you can actually call this. I'm going to call this a demo. So the triggers. So there's some premium triggers that are coming out now. We could ignore those for the time being. Just the triggers are like appointments. So appointment status. So say you've got an appointment come in. Say they cancel. You can have a workflow for if they've cancelled to try and get them to rebook in. If they were a no-show, you can do a whole automation for them if they're a no-show to kind of bring them back in and book in again. And if they showed, you can send them out a follow-up email sequence to try and get them to buy off the back of that appointment. So that's all cool. Contact, this is kind of like, I'll say for e-commerce, this bit here, birthday reminder. If they put in their birthday, you can obviously send them a happy birthday message. I know a lot of e-commerce stores do that, giving like 10% off for your birthday or something like that, which is pretty cool. This is if your contact changed. So if we pop that in there, obviously every trigger you can add filters to as well. So say contact change, if a tag's added, something like that. If they've been set as a D&D, those are the kind of filters you can use. Just get that off. Contact tag. So if a tag's been added or removed, you can trigger it off of that. Custom date reminder. All these kind of triggers there. Contact action. So if a customer has replied, if they reply to anything, you can basically set up a automation to kind of like firstly maybe send yourself a notification that you've got reply in HighLevel, and go off that. Form submitted, so that is for one of your forms that you've created in HighLevel. So that could be a very simple trigger. When one of your forms is submitted, it will go straight into a workflow that you can use to send out, email reminders, SMSs, all that kind of cool stuff. And again, orders, surveys similar to forms if a survey submitted, and a trigger link clicked. So you can set up links that are called trigger links, which if a link click, it's basically so you can trigger workflows off of link clicks, but you have to set them up in the back end, which I can do another video on if you're unsure on how to do that. Twilio validation error. So that's basically if you've got Twilio set up, an SMS goes out and it hasn't worked. So for example, a common mistake that a lot of us can make is not setting up the geos correctly in Twilio. So say you've got an Australian number messaging and an SMS goes out to an Australian number or a US number, and you haven't actually selected those geos inside Twilio, it will automatically be thrown out. So you want to make sure. So this can basically send you an internal notification letting you know that a number has had a validation error or something like that, and then you can get to the bottom of it and sort it out. So call status, email events. So again, in here you can just send out an email, and you may want to have notifications or certain events that happen after that. So let's go to event. So yeah, you can have bounced, clicked, complained, opened, unsubscribed. You can have this as a trigger, and that can trigger a whole version of events for you in the workflow. So you can pick which workflow that you want to happen. If they open it in a certain workflow, you can bring them into this workflow and do whatever you want to do. Pretty cool. And then going on to Facebook lead form submitters, so you can set up a lead form inside Facebook. And these kind of things, I think this is more for membership, which I don't really use. But if you had a course, this can do a lot of your stuff for you, and then you can trigger it. Opportunities, so this is your sales pipelines. If they've moved from, say, an opt-in to replied, something like that, you can trigger that to send notifications to yourself, payments, invoices, and yeah, so those are the triggers that you can use. So mostly I kind of use the tag. Mostly, so say I'm running a Facebook lead ad and I'm getting in opt-ins and they're getting tagged as opt-in. I want to start sending them a nurture sequence. So that's perfect. And then the actions, you can do a lot of actions after something's been triggered. So you've got these LC premium actions. GoHighLevel is starting to try and do some stuff around like trying to take a bit of the work off Zapier or Make or one of those kind of webhook services. So you can kind of do that now if you get the most advanced package. Other than that, you can send email, send an SMS, you can drop call them. You can send them a Facebook message if you've linked your Facebook Messenger, Instagram as well. GMB messaging, manual call, manual SMS. So you can do all these things. And then you can start, adding data to your data in your CRM. So you can start tagging them with certain tags, depending on if they meet certain criteria. Remove tags, create an update opportunity, add notes. Like if you've got multiple team members working the lead, you can assign them to a certain user. You can add them to another workflow if they take certain actions. Remove them from workflows. And you can remove opportunities. You can do all this kind of cool stuff. Send internal notification. Send to the Eliza agent platform. I think that's their AI appointment booking bot, which is quite new, which is pretty cool. Update appointment status, and you can start adding them to certain data providers. So add to Google Analytics, add to AdWords, update contact field. Do all the Facebook stuff, so add them to a custom audience or do a conversion API. And the conditions is also a really good one that you want to go and kind of do. So you can do an if else. So that's a condition. So like if they have a certain tag, they get this email. If they haven't got a certain tag, they can get that email. And you can do a lot of different conditions, which is brilliant. If you have any more questions on how to do those conditions, obviously pop a comment below and I can try and help you out. Weights are pretty important, so you can kind of like give a day in between each email going out. Webhook, I use that a lot with catch hooks in Zapier to send data outside of GoHighLevel into somewhere else, which is pretty easy to do. Go to a math operation is really cool if you're doing kind of like a quiz where you need to add two numbers together. So, for example, you're kind of like doing mortgages and you need to add together certain data points. You can do that in here, but they have to be numeric. And then obviously you can do the gold event as well. So here's a quick lead nurture sequence I've just put together just as an example. So a lead comes in from, say, a Facebook ad campaign, and you kind of want them to move them on to becoming an appointment. Obviously, the tag would be whatever you're tagging them in Facebook, like so. And it comes down, they get an SMS, a very simple, generic. This is a GoHighLevel text template. Next thing, advantage from offer. Next step is to book a quick consultation call. It's now a good time to get you booked. And then this waits step is waiting for a contact reply. So you can, there's a few things you can wait for. So certain conditions, you can just wait there until they're met. This is done on contact reply. So we're waiting for a reply. We've also got a timeout on there, which basically lasts a day. So basically what this wait step is doing is it's waiting for them to reply, or if they don't reply in a day, they're going to move on after a day. Okay. And then they're going to go to an if else, which is basically, did they reply? This will be either a yes or a no. So obviously that says contact replied, and we're seeing if that condition is met. If they did reply, they're going to go down the yes column, the yes path. If they haven't replied, they're going to go down the no path. If after a day they haven't replied, they'll get another text message, which basically says, don't miss out on our offer. This is a GoHighLevel template, which you can do here. So you can add going to add their calendar link again, just to try and get them to book into the calendar. If they did reply to the first message, which is basically asking them if now is a good time, then there'll be another if else condition, which basically is seeing if it's positive. So GoHighLevel has the ability to see if a message is either positive or negative, which is basically yes, I'm ready to book now, or no, I'm not. So you can have that as kind of an if else, which is basically intent type. is positive, yes. And again, if it is positive, they're going to go down the yes path, and if it's not, they're going to go down the no path. So, for example, then this is just like, great, grab my link here, which is basically how to book, which is perfect. If it's a no, then you can send an internal notification, which is either email, an internal one inside HighLevel, or an SMS. I normally do an email. And then it just basically tells them that we need to follow up with this person because they've actually replied back, which is a good thing. They're replying, but obviously it's been negative, so you can reply back to them. And this little custom field here basically sends them the message that that lead sent. Now you can carry this on for ages if you wanted to. You can start having some emails under there, which will basically nurture them, especially on this side. And once they have booked in, you can set them up with a tag, and then you can take them out of the lead nurture sequence. So, for example, if I was going to do that, I'd basically do this. So you don't want them getting all those lead nurture things if they do book. So I would do it like this. Not that one. There we go. Customer booked appointment. So once they book an appointment, then I would be firstly removing from a workflow, and I'll be removing them from this particular one here. So once they book the appointment, they'll be taking that out, and then you can start doing your make sure they're kind of like reminders and their emails, making sure they attend the appointment. So that's basically what I would do. But yeah, that is basically workflows in a nutshell. It's hard to show you everything that they can do in one video because otherwise it would take hours. If you are looking to start building a workflow and you're not sure how to kind of go about it, then please drop me a comment below, and I'll obviously try and help you as best I can. Yeah, and if you like this video, just chuck me a like, and yeah, make sure you subscribe so you see other tutorials like this. Okay, guys, cheers, thank you.